Through social engineering, the oppressors have trapped the collective minds of millions of our people within a herd mentality. The herd mentality is the tendency for people to conform to the popular beliefs held by the group they belong to, even when those beliefs are absolutely false, and even when those beliefs literally insults their own intelligence. This is the fact in the case in regard to the popular belief held by many of our people that believes that our plight is connected to a book written by those that have proven themselves as being the most ungodliest group throughout history, and from a book that was also brutally beaten into the blood-soaked minds of our ancestors during the lowest time in our history. That belief makes absolutely no sense at all. This herd mentality is also witnessed by the popular belief held by many of our people that believe that our minds have been shaped and is being continuously controlled by slave syndrome. That silly myth presents what would in fact be the least effective method used for controlling generations of millions of people. It's simply not how true brainwashing is achieved. True brainwashing requires a system that is being constantly reapplied and reinforced upon the minds of a targeted population. If not, its effectiveness would lessen with each new generation, not continue as we're witnessing amongst our people. Our collective minds are not being controlled by the silly Willie Lynch myth. Those who insist that these two noted beliefs are true are mentally trapped within a herd mentality. And the mental trapping is so effective that millions now insist that it's true, and they'll fight against those of us who try to free their minds and who attempt to teach them the truth of our planet condition. This is a horrible situation, because as long as our people continues to believe in falsehoods in regards to our plight and condition, then all of our liberating remedies and strategies that stem from those flawed beliefs will also be flawed. The oppressed must gain a clear, concise, and accurate understanding of their plight and condition in order to develop the proper kind of strategies that are necessary to liberate themselves. This is why those of us who know must teach African proverb. Here's the truth of our plight and condition. Presently, white government agents that specializes in psychiatry and propaganda works unrelentingly behind the scenes, manipulating the collective minds of the black masses. These men analyzes and studies everything about the black population, our beliefs, our likes, our dislikes, our strengths, and our vulnerabilities. This surveillance information is gathered, and decisions are then made on which best fraudulent stories to produce to best create certain psychological feelings amongst the black masses that aids the white society in maintaining its social dominance and control over the black population. These men govern our minds, molds our opinions, and shapes our perception in ways that protects and serve the system of white supremacy. Their ultimate objective is to spread so much disinformation and misinformation propaganda into the black communities until virtually everything believed by the black population are lies that hinders our liberation. It confuses the black population to such an extent that we're unable to come together to make any sensible decisions in the interests of liberating ourselves from what oppression. It's how they ensure that the unprecedented unified black protest, as witnessed during the 1960s, never happens again. And the black population not only doesn't know what's happening, most don't even know that they don't know. That's how clueless most are. A speaker of truth has no friends. Wake up. The reason why many black people now often makes negative generalizations about our racial group, while often simultaneously speaking favorably of our oppressors, has nothing to do with a silly slave syndrome myth. This noted mindset that's possessed by many black people is a direct result of the white society's monopoly over information that are fed into our minds. Because they control the information that we receive, this allows them to accordingly control what we believe. They've exploited this scenario to shape our minds in ways that benefit themselves. Is that logical? The white society wrote our history, and they write all of our narratives. Like it or not, they literally owns our interpretation of ourselves and of our collective state. They falsely, negatively distorted and marginalized all of our narratives to condition us to perceive ourselves through a false, inherent, subordinate identity that aids them in maintaining their social dominance and social capital over us. They even distort their published maps to make Africa appear 13 times smaller than its true relative size, while making all white countries appear significantly larger than their true sizes. It's a black racially demoralizing psychological warfare that utilizes the immense power that shame has upon the human mind to mentally enslave millions of black people. We are not lesser than them. The truth is that long before they invaded and enslaved us, it was we that civilized them. And in spite of cultural traumas wrought by the enslavement, by slavery, all inventions that have revolutionized the world were either invented by black people or were directly inspired by early inventions by black people. Through the white society's monopoly over information, they've whitewashed the perception of reality. This is all possible because the public's perception of reality is not shaped based upon facts. It's actually shaped by the narratives that are repetitively fed into the society. Therefore, the basic tool required for the distortion of reality is to repetitively feed false narratives into the society. The public at large will then begin functioning based upon those false narratives instead of the true reality. If you can control all of the narratives, you can control the perception of reality. Because the white society controls all the narratives, they literally owns their perception of reality. All you have to do is just keep repeatedly feeding lies into a society, and before long, most people will begin functioning based upon the lie. This is what the white society has done. Case, point, and proof. Through their monopoly over information, by repetitively feeding lies into the society, white propagandists have manipulated millions to believe that most inventions comes from the minds of Caucasians and to perceive black people as being the leeches of society that haven't invented much throughout history. This perception is necessary for sustaining false assumptions within society that aids in maintaining white social dominance over the black population. But the true reality is the exact opposite from what they've manipulated millions to believe. A fact that's been hidden from your history book is this. After slavery was abolished in the U.S. in 1865, and in spite of receiving no reparation and being constantly plagued by the evil injustices of white racism, between the year of 1870 through 1940, African Americans submitted 726 invention patent applications to the U.S. Patent Office. Not only is this an extraordinary achievement under these noted circumstances and so closely following slavery, but it also more than doubled the number of patents submitted by whites during the same period. This is a fact that's kept from history. In fact, African Americans did this in spite of then only representing 3% of the U.S. population. And this scenario of black people outperforming whites and creating revolutionizing inventions is concealed from the public through the white society's monopoly over information. The hidden reality is that in spite of cultural traumas wrought by the injustice of white racism and slavery, most inventions that have revolutionized the world were in fact either invented by black people or were directly inspired by earlier inventions by black people. Without black people, there would exist no motors, no automobiles, no helicopters, no airplanes. Without black people, we would not have skyscrapers, because we only have skyscrapers because black people invented the elevator, the air conditioning, and central heating, which are essential in order for people to live or work in skyscrapers. Without black people, there would exist no internet, no cell phones. We wouldn't have microphones or cameras on our cell phones. It wasn't for black inventors. We wouldn't have the accurate weather forecasting system. We wouldn't have the cataract laser removal scope that gives sight to billions of people around the world. There'd also be no emails, no GPS, no hearing aid, no touch-tone phones, no caller ID, no home surveillance security system, no home game cartridges, no steam engines, no traffic lights. Without black people, there would exist no refrigerators, no refrigerated trucks, no blood banks, no dry cleaning, no lawnmowers, no doorknobs, no 3D movies, no lawnmowers, etc., etc. It's actually the genius minds of black people that moves the world forward. Whenever lies have been told to the masses over many generational lines, the truth will sound absolutely ridiculous and the speaker will sound like a raving lunatic. Nonetheless, the truth is still the truth, even if most people have been brainwashed to believe the lies. Also, through repetition of false propaganda, the white society has also manipulated millions to believe that Caucasians are the highest evolved Homo sapiens and that we Africans are the lowest evolved. The truth of the matter is that we Africans are the only true Homo sapiens. We Africans have been scientifically proven as being the only homogeneous species. Our hair is different from everyone else because we're the only true humans. It's been scientifically proven that our skin colors and our hair type are the direct result of Homo sapien DNA. The scientific classification for Caucasians and all other racial groups is actually Homo sapiens sapiens. Google it, research it. Homo sapiens sapiens. This additional sapiens, it means modern humans that evolved from lower primate subspecies. Unlike all other groups, Africans aren't even included on the Darwin evolutionary chart. Africans have instead always been Homo sapien. All other racial groups have falsely attached themselves onto we Africans to falsely give themselves a Homo sapien identity. It's the true reason why, in spite of despising us and constantly putting us down, nonetheless, they all claim that it came from us. We Africans are the only true Homo sapiens. The name Homo sapien means the wise human. Homo is Latin for the word human or man, and sapien is derived from the Latin word meaning wise or astute. The name the wise human is appropriately given to Africans because Africans introduced science, writing, math, and philosophy to the world. Africans invented the wheel, paper, the calendar, the concept of 24 hours in a day. Africans are the first to build in stone and the first to smelt metal. The world's oldest university, library, manuscript, encyclopedia, human prosthetic, mathematic tool, medical journals, and world's oldest standing kingdom are all located in Africa. And long before the Europeans invaded Africa, it was Africans that civilized Europe. Africans introduced reading, writing, shaving, use of toothpaste, and even introduced a daily bath to Europeans. Your perception of reality is an elaborate white deception. Everything the white society has fed into your mind falsely exalts themselves and falsely marginalizes us. Doing so is designed to instill a value system into our collective subconscious mind that makes us adhere to white dominance over our lives, because it conditions us to perceive ourselves through a false inferior identity that makes us more compliant with white dominance over our lives. You have to wake up to your reality. Stop functioning based upon the white man lies that exalts him and marginalizes us. Stop it and function based upon our reality. One love and peace.